Welcome to another night in the NBA. This is your 10-minute recap of the last night of NBA hoops. I was initially going to make this video about Patrick Beverley talking about the Raptors, or about Matt Ryan, who's been a sharpshooter for the Pelicans so far. I just talked about Wemby. I'm like, I can't talk about him again. I'm talking about him again because he was ridiculous in their win over the Suns tonight. Finishes with 38 points on 54% shooting, I believe. It was either 54 or 57. But 38 points, 10 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 blocks, and a team best plus 21. This is a game where the Spurs were up by 20 plus at the half, but Devin Vassell leaves the game with groin tightness. Devin Vassell had been the highest plus minus to that point. It felt like all the momentum had shifted to the Suns, but Wemby was too good at the end of the game. He was ridiculous. This is one of the best rookie performances I can ever remember seeing. He takes down Kevin Durant and Devin Booker. I just cannot believe it. I cannot believe this at all because Victor Wembanyama looks like one of the best rookies I've ever seen. And I even have it in the thumbnail, I think. Is he the best rookie since MJ? I'm looking at the best rookie seasons throughout history. LeBron averaged like 21 points per game, but was really solid. Shot over 50% for the year, I believe. Tim Duncan averaged 21 points per game about. Allen Iverson averaged 23.5, but Michael Jordan averaged 28 points per game and was an elite player as a rookie. And that feels like what we're comparing to right now because Wemby just had 38, 10, and shot well in his fifth game of ever. His fifth game playing in the NBA, and he already looks like one of the most dominant players in the sport. He takes down a Suns team that has 2 top 15 players in Kevin Durant and Devin Booker. You could argue they have 2 top 10 players. Devin Booker looked that good on opening night. Booker finishes tonight with 31 points, 10 of 19 from the field, 28 from Kevin Durant, 10 of 15. It doesn't matter because Wemby was the best player in this game. I don't think he's better than Kevin Durant. I'm not going to get that crazy this early on in his career, but Victor Wembanyama on the court tonight was the best player in this game. But he has some teammates to play well also. It's 19 for Zach Collins, 14 for Jeremy Sohan, 13 for Cedi Osman off the bench, and 17 for Vassell, who was solid. But no one could believe this, and it shocked some stuff on socials too, so I wanted to talk about that. Bill Simmons, after the game, he tweets, "I'm going to wander around LA right now in the dark in my slippers, trying to process what just happened with Wemby, because it's so unbelievable. Again, we've just never seen this. I've never seen a rookie be this good." Legion Hoops tonight. He's tweeting about it after the game, and initially I thought it was kind of ridiculous, and then I thought about it. It might not be. Victor Wembanyama is a top 25 player in the NBA already. I've seen enough. That's what he says. And initially I'm like, oh, there's no way he's a rookie. Even after I watched the game, I think about it a little bit. It might not be that crazy. Wemby might already be that good. And even though he might not be a top 25 player already, I think it's insane and very telling that you can even have that conversation because you can. He's that impactful. Another tweet from Legion Hoops: the Spurs are 3-2, including beating the Suns twice in a row. Might as well give Wembanyama the Rookie of the Year award already. Just a great game from Wemby. And then another tweet from Kenny Beecham, who I love, king of the fourth quarter. "Cannot believe y'all was talking about Bull." And I think that's hilarious. It was a big thing that went around because after they beat the Suns the last time, Shaq goes on TNT and he says, "Stop saying we haven't seen a player like this. We've already seen a player like this, and his name is Bull. We've seen a 7'4" guy be able to do this and shoot like this and do this. They're not even in the same class. Bull couldn't even get minutes with the Magic, who are bad. He's not playing for the Suns in these games. Put some respect on Wemby's name. He's in a completely different tier than Bull. Stop bringing up Bull like they're the same player." Even Charles Barkley said it. Why? Because they're black? Is that why they're the same? Because they're not. They're just not the same player. They don't really have anything in common besides being 7'4" and being black. But it's ridiculous. Wemby is phenomenal. Just an elite player right now. And I still can't believe it. I'm still in shock after watching this game. I think I'm going to put it out tonight rather than tomorrow morning because I'm just in awe of how good this game was from Wemby. Again, 38 points, 10 rebounds, plus 21, best on his team. And again, I think this is early on, it's shaping up to be the best rookie that we've seen since Michael Jordan. And it's a good rookie class. You have Chet, you have Asar Thompson, who does a little bit of everything, and you have a bunch of different guys that have been playing pretty well. Brandon Miller's been good as well, but it's not even going to be close. Wemby is going to be the runaway rookie of the year, and I think he'll be the first true rookie all-star since Yao Ming. Blake Griffin made it as a rookie. He was really in his second year. It's like the same thing that we're seeing with Chet this year. Had a year with NBA training. But Wemby takes down the Suns despite great games from both Kevin Durant and Devin Booker, but it doesn't matter. I saw something before this game that opponents, when shooting at Wemby, were shooting like 22% from the field and like 7% at the rim or 7% at three, something like that. Ridiculously like dominant defensive player right now, and if his offense is going to be as good as we saw in this game, he could end this season as a top 10 player because he's just so incredibly impactful. We've never seen anything like Victor Wembanyama, and in my lifetime he's the best rookie I've ever seen. At least it's shaping up to be that. But that's enough talking about Wemby. We've kind of raved over him enough. Let's shoot around the league, look at some different games, and check out some other action from a night with 4 NBA games around the league. So, looking at other action from around the NBA, I'll start us off with Pelicans versus Pistons, because this game was very interesting. The Pelicans enter the game at 3-1, and the Pistons enter the game at 2-3, but it looked pretty good to start the year with Cade, with Jalen Duren. But the Pelicans don't have either Zion or Brandon Ingram in this game, which I think would have led a lot of people to believe the Pistons would win because of how impressive they've looked to start the year. But Matt Ryan, who signed with the Pelicans 2 days before the season started, finishes with 20 points, 7 of 10 from the field, and 6 of 8 from 3. He was initially my guy I was going to talk about for the video, I think, today, because Matt Ryan's super impressive. I think he had like 13 in the debut as well, but finishes with 20 points tonight. He's actually the 4th leading scorer. They get 33 from CJ McCollum, 23 points and 13 rebounds from Jonas Valanciunas, and they get 21 points from Herb Jones, who shoots 6 of 7 from the field. Known as a great defensive guy, but really good offensive game from Herb Jones. And then the Pistons get a solid Cade game in terms of scoring, 22 points, 11 assists, but shoots kind of a pretty ugly 8 of 22 from the field. Then Asar Thompson puts up 16 points, 7 rebounds, and 5 assists, but also pretty ugly efficiency-wise at 5 of 17. Moving on from that game, let's talk about Sixers versus Raptors. This is a game that the Sixers win 114-99 on the backs of Joel Embiid, who was great in this game, but it was really 4 great players. Joel Embiid has 28 points and 13 rebounds, 23 from Tobias Harris, 18 from Maxey, and 23 from Kelly Oubre. It is a balanced attack from the Sixers, who look like a really solid team at the top. Despite not having Harden, the duo of Maxey and Oubre, with Maxey's step forward and Oubre not being there before, I think actually more than makes up for Harden not being there, and I think they'll probably still make a move later on in the year. So the Sixers, very promising start to the season, now 3-1, take down the Raptors. But another great Scotty Barnes game, 24 points, 8 assists, 8 rebounds, is taking a clear jump in year 3. But I wanted to talk about Pat Bev a little bit, who said on his podcast the other day that the Raptors have no dogs, that if he ran into OG Anunoby and Pascal Siakam in a dark alley, he wouldn't be afraid, which is the weirdest wording I've ever heard to describe NBA players. But that's what he said. So they've played them twice already. Sixers beat them the first time. He said, like I said, no dogs. They beat them the second time. Like I said, no dogs. He says it again. Patrick Beverley tonight played 28 minutes and had 2 points. Pat Bev was running pure cardio, 1 of 6 from the field. Pat Bev is a bench player talking like a starter. I hate it. But Scotty Barnes, dog. Pascal Siakam, most games, dog. OG Anunoby, dog. Dennis Schroeder, dog. The Raptors have dogs. I just don't know what he's talking about. But let's move on from that game. Let's talk about the last game of the night that I haven't talked about. Magic versus Jazz, which was a great one, came down to the last play. The Magic win 115-113 in Utah. Great bounce back from Paolo Banchero. Last year's Rookie of the Year had really struggled to start the season, but 30 points tonight, 9 rebounds. Paolo is back, and they win this game because of it. 21 points from Franz Wagner, 18 from Cole Anthony off the bench. The Jazz get contributions from a bunch of different guys, 20 from John Collins, 22 from Lowry, 21 from Clarkson, and 15 from Talen Horton-Tucker, but it doesn't matter because the Magic win this to move to 3-2 on the year. I really like the Magic. I think they're a sleeper team in the East this year. But as we're always going to do in the last segment of the night, let's talk about the top 5 players according to the Real Sports app, so we can get an idea of who the best performances were from in today's NBA games in the action from tonight. So starting at number 1, it is Victor Wembanyama, the best performance of the night, and I'd say easily. They get 38 points from Wemby, 10 rebounds and 2 assists. Jonas Valanciunas clocks in at 2 with 23 points, 13 rebounds and 5 assists. At number 3, we have Paolo Banchero with 30 points, 9 rebounds and 5 assists. At 4, we have Herb Jones with the offensive Herb game, 21 points, 5 rebounds and 4 blocks, still doing the defense as well. And then at number 5, we have Devin Booker in his first game back from injury with 31 points, 13 assists and 9 rebounds. Point book is for real, almost had a triple-double, but Victor Wembanyama puts up a rookie masterclass, one of the best rookie performances I'd say we've ever seen, and they end up winning it. But that's your top 5 for the night. And that'll do it for this night in the NBA, another night in the NBA. But thank you guys for watching. That's going to be it for me. I'm Herm. Have a good one.